Hello, viewers. Welcome to MBTV Weekly Property Roundup. We bring to you top 5 developments from Indian real estate space that's going to have a lasting impact on you as consumers. I am Prasun Kumar, marketing head of Magicbricks, and with me is Jayashree Kurup, senior real estate journalist and editor-in-chief of MBTV. So welcome, Jayashree.
Thanks, Prasun.
Now with lockdown being removed partially and construction works also beginning across cities, do we finally see movement happening in the industry?
Yes, Prasun, in some states work has started. Karnataka has been extremely proactive. Work is happening on the ground, and the police force has been instructed not to stop any vehicles that is bringing construction material, water, concrete, that kind of thing, and to facilitate construction. Haryana has given a lot of project sanctions to begin, and there are also wardens, the COVID wardens on the work sites who are monitoring and making sure that the sites are safe and no new cases come from there. So I think to a very large extent the real estate industry has begun work.
Mm. So, staying on this, entire impact of lockdown on the industry and the way forward from here. Now, because construction has started and builders have been permitted to build now, Finance Ministry has also said that COVID-19 will be treated as force majeure under RERA, right? And they have already UP RERA, Maharashtra RERA, and some other authorities have granted 3 to 6 months or beyond extension to developers for finishing the projects. What do you see as impact on consumers, and what is in store for a real estate buyer or a prospective investor?
I will quote the Karnataka RERA, the Karnataka NAREDCO chief, the CREDI chief, who said that thank God there was RERA, because normally when there is any kind of excess with a developer, that money goes into buying new land. Here,
Right.
because of RERA, the money went into escrow accounts and the money remained for the project. So the good news for the buyer is that that money that you have paid for the project remains in the project. What has been extended is that there is a 6 month zero period that has been given, because already 2 months we've been in lockdown. Slowly work is starting, so the third month also goes in just getting things online.
Right.
Workers have gone away. The construction material, the supply chains are not ready. So work is going to start very slowly, and it will take another 2 3 months to pick up. So 6 months have been given as a zero period. That means that your project can get delayed between 6 to 9 months from whatever date there was on your contract. But the money has not gone away. The money has remained with the escrow accounts, and therefore you are relatively safer that your house will be ready. There are some developers who are saying that they may not be able to do, but the industry has come together and they're picking up each other's projects, joint development agreements, so that projects will go through. And Prasun, I don't think that there are going to be too many defaults of completion of projects. There may be some extensions, but I don't see defaults.
All right, so that's an important assessment coming from Jayashree for viewers, that construction has begun and a lot of movement is happening, but you should expect a 6 to 9 months delay, minimum for delivery of projects. So while buy and sell segment of real estate is on one side, and we all are aware of challenges there and the expectations there as well. Let's look at the rental side of it, right? And during lockdown, there were a lot of issues that had come up for landlords as well as tenants. And a lot of tenants wanted waiver of rents for 3 months, and in lines with what government has been announcing as a relief measure. But Delhi High Court very recently struck that down and said that lockdown is no ground for a rent waiver. How do you read this entire development, both for a landlord as well as for a tenant?
Prasun, this is a problem that is that cities are grappling with around the world. If you remember, in New York, the tenants, the cooperative went on strike, and there was a lot of agitation. Even now, our own workers have been saying that they are facing a serious problem of paying their rent. Now, can you tell the landlord just waive it off? You can't. because
Sure.
that is the landlord's income, and the landlord is using that money to pay the taxes, municipal taxes, property taxes, what have you,
Right.
and also to run his own home. He's already invested.
Yeah.
Now, the tenants, what the High Court order says is that you can't ask for waiver because the landlord, it is the landlord's right. If there is a contract, you have to go with the contract. But what
Mhm.
you can do is ask the landlord to defer it for some time, or give you some relaxation. Maybe if you're paying 10,000, take 5,000 now and I'll pay 5,000 later. Something like this. And this is something that needs to come out as a policy. I see a lot of stress in the system, and I think the government needs to address this as a policy.
Right, and the point remains that with so many jobs lost already and so many people becoming unemployed, obviously there may not be enough fund any which way to pay rents, and in which case landlords would probably force tenants to evacuate and uh, leave the flat or the home that they are living in. Now that will add another kind of stress into the system.
Right now, they have been told you can't ask them to vacate. During a lockdown, you can't ask them to vacate. But the lockdown is lifting, right? By 1st June, most of the lockdown will be lifted. There will be interstate movement as well. Flights are resuming. So
Hmm.
I see that a lot of people are going to home, like our laborers have gone home, saying that let's live out the crisis in the safety of our villages. I see
Yes.
a lot of migrant workers saying, "Let me work from home, but allow me to go back home and work." And
Right.
I think this is going to be the reality. Staying on rent in a different city on reduced means does not seem to be very conducive.
Sure. And purely from an industry perspective, then this is going to be another challenge to manage because rental market has been doing well, and but now it's come under severe stress as well.
Yes, yes.
Now, moving over, another important development that happened was a High Court telling Delhi government that you should renew registration of construction workers. Now, this is an extremely welcome step because the moment construction workers come under a formal registered system, then it's easy to monitor and it's easy to also help them out in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. Currently, about 50-60% of labor, construction labor, is registered. The remaining, they come and go as informal labor, but there's no registration. Now, what
Mhm.
the government of India, one of the first things our government did, and very commendable too, was that labor was given, anybody with a Jandan account was given some money in their accounts. Some
Mhm.
gave 500, construction workers got 3,600 and something. The government is putting the money directly as subsidies into the accounts of the workers if they are registered. Now,
Right.
this is the time that the industry has realized it's very important to actually register all their workers. They don't
Mm.
need to register to a project or a developer. They need to be registered to on the state registry, and that's what the effort is now.
Okay. And have you seen government engaging with industry bodies like CREDAI or NAREDCO to facilitate this?
Both CREDAI and NAREDCO are working very hard on making labor registries, and they believe that this is going to be the next round of reforms.
Sure. And
They've
this
said this on Magicbricks shows. Both the CREDAI and NAREDCO presidents have said this on the Magicbricks shows, MBTV shows.
right. And this sets a very good example because this has largely been labor market has largely been an unorganized sector and where you did not have enough control over numbers and not much data coming by. But with all these forces coming under a formal registry system per se, it's also good for laborers at the end of the day because they will come under a formal system and it will be easier for them to seek help or also to reach out, isn't it?
And also, see, labor laws are under change.
Right.
Many states have suspended labor laws. It's a very controversial thing. But I think an old regime needs to move and a new regime needs to come. And nobody has actually revealed what that new regime is going to be. But in that regime, what you will see is that everybody will stand up to be counted. And in some register or the other, each of us is going to be stand up and be counted. And I think making registries of labor is going to be extremely important.
Hmm. Right. And the last piece of news came from Maharashtra, especially Mumbai, where coronavirus spread has been a really big challenge. And it's the worst affected city in the country. as of now, with highest number of cases and highest number of cases being detected.
That is our New York.
That's our New York, absolutely. And needless to say that the health infrastructure is under severe stress there.
Absolutely.
And we need more and more beds in hospitals to take care of more coronavirus patients as and when they are coming in. Now, in light of this, the Slum Rehabilitation Authority (SRA) in Mumbai decided to hand over about 2,080 flats for COVID care. This is an extremely welcome move, and do you see this trend being followed in other cities also, where the infrastructure is going to come under stress because of the cases?
You see, managing corona containment is the biggest challenge, especially in a rapidly evolving city like Mumbai.
Hmm.
And SRA had completed houses which had not been handed over. Now,
Hmm.
and a lot of the effort is to contain in places like Dharavi, where the councillor of Dharavi has done an exclusive interview with Sagar Shere of MBTV, where she said that 100 square feet, you have up to 6 to 7 people. Even if you lock them down, I mean, it's impossible to stay in that space for so long, right? And that's why it's important that if one person has COVID, you have to immediately segregate that person and contain the spread of the case. And this kind of isolation in already ready completed apartments is a very good move. It's creative utilization of space, and you have to say, Prasun, across the country, whether it's the developers, whether it's the development authorities, everybody, or the railways for that matter, come forward and given their space and said, use it. Right now, we are not using it. Use our space, and I think that's very positive.
Yeah, and that's been wonderful also, because being not a rich country, we never had those resources to build up infrastructure of this scale. And so it's very heartening to see authorities and institutes coming together to really contribute as much as they can in terms of building up this entire capacity. And that's no, wonderful. And so on this positive note, viewers, at MBTV, we have been constantly covering all the developments that are happening. It's not only related to construction of properties, but it's also related to what's happening, what kind of decisions local authorities are taking and policymakers are taking, and so on and so forth. So I hope you keep tuned into MBTV, and please also advise all your friends and families to keep watching MBTV for the latest update that Jayashree and her team brings to you.
And keep sharing, and commenting. Your comments are very valuable to us. It gives us a clue to what you would like covered. So be proactive. We would love to service you more and more. Thank you so much for watching.
See you. Take care.